Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Fighter Strike 95 Flight Sim, and today we're here in Puerto Rico today to cover one of our new national parks in this series. This will be one of our two U.S. national parks outside of the contiguous 48, and we'll be covering Virgin Island, one of the first two of our two national parks that's not a U.S. state. Yes, we're talking about U.S. Virgin Islands National Park. So, pretty interesting stuff here, of course. So, this national park is a pretty historic one. It's actually older than you think. This national park was established back in 1956. But this beautiful national park here is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands, in the island of St. John. Very cool national park. It's not the biggest park, so we don't have to do too much flying over it. So we're gonna be doing here just exploring the area and just talking about it. We're not really gonna do any bush lanes today, but we will be exploring it. So before we get started, of course, we'll be saying hello to everyone involved. Hello to all the lurkers and stuff in chat. I hope you're all having a good morning to all of you guys. And here's the flight plan for this morning. Of course, this is going to be a bit of a shorter distance flight. It's only 155 nautical miles long. We will have 3 stops. One is to fly over to San Juan. We'll be flying over to Tango Juliet India Golf. So we'll be flying around the Puerto Rican coast. We'll fly that for the first leg. Leg number 2, we'll fly over the industrial part of San Juan. We'll fly over there. Then we'll make our way east across Playa Azul and make our way over to Tango Juliet Charlie Papa. And then from there, we'll enter into St. Thomas, the island of St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands of St. Thomas. We'll fly over Charlotte Emile. Then from there, we'll enter into the Virgin Islands National Park at St. John. We'll fly over Cruz Bay. We'll fly over that area. We'll go over to the historic Trunk Bay for maybe we might do a beach landing at Trunk Bay. Then from there, we fly into the Sydney Bay Trail, fly over quite a few notable POIs, go into Coral Bay, and then make our way over to the British Virgin Islands and Tortola, and we stop at Tango Uniform Papa Juliet. That would be our stop for today. Like I said, it's 155 nautical miles. It's going to be a much shorter stream compared to... That means we're going to take something a bit slower today. We will be taking the... we'll take the Slim Savage Cub with us. Yes, this is Slim's attempt at the Super Cub. Which will go around 9 knots, which is actually perfect for this. Perfectly suited for this. It goes around 9 knots. So this should be nice and stable for today's national park flight. It's a bit shorter, which is why I wanted to take this thing for today. Thankfully, this is a Super Cub, so if you know anything about Super Cubs, they're much, much easier to start. Thankfully, like I said, it's a Super Cub. If you know anything about the Cubs, it's much easier to get started and get going. I get going pretty much instantly. So, of course, if you're wondering what I'm wearing today, I got this. Everton Football Club. Yeah, I'm wearing my Everton kit today because, well, I'm hoping if I have enough time, I get to watch the Toffees. Hopefully they beat Tottenham Hotspur today. So I'm wearing my Everton kit. Hopefully this is a sign of good luck for the Everton, the Toffees. Got my kit today. Not wearing a scarf, but I'm just wearing the kit for today. So we're just gonna go park. So thankfully we can stay around under 2,500 feet today. We'll stay around 1,500 feet for the duration of this cruise. So there's not a ton of slides for this one. So we should get through these slides pretty quickly. So very excited to cover this national park. Bit of a smaller one, but that's why I want to take a smaller plane for today. Of course, this thing also has, unlike the Savage Norton, has no autopilot. And also, like the Savage Norton, this thing takes off nearly just as short. And look at this, I did this all with no flaps, so we're just gonna head and cruise to... Yeah, this thing cruises really quick. Yeah, the good old Pipe Savage Cub, the Sun Savage Cub. Can't go wrong with this thing. It's based off the Super Cub, which is a very popular bush plane. Piper PA-18s are very popular bush aircraft. They produce over 10,000 of them have been built for over 40 years of production. 10,000 have been built. They've been used all over the place. I like using it as a bush plane because plus for me at least, I haven't actually taken this plane very much flying as a bush plane for quite a while. So we'll just cruise up to 1,500 feet. But yeah, can't go wrong with the good old Savage Cub. Just got dial on the trim and watch it fly. So guys, I hope you all enjoy your weekend so far. I hope you're all enjoying your weekend. I mean, I have some really great flying on Saturday with the airliners and stuff. So there's some pretty crazy stuff that went happen in sports over the past weekend. Yesterday was quite a crazy day in Spain's La Liga, and the relegation battle officially ended. It's officially ended with the relegation of RCD Mallorca and Girona FC. Both got relegated. Girona unfortunately couldn't survive against Elche. They drew, which ended up costing them a chance to survive. And while Mallorca did win, they had to get some matchups in their favor. But yes, Mallorca and Girona both got relegated. And before you ask, goal differential doesn't matter. It's head-to-head matches that matter in La Liga, not. So that's something I want to let you know before you guys asked. So. Yeah, look at the views out here today. Puerto Rico. This is the scenery here in Puerto Rico, of course. Beautiful zone here. As always. So another thing I do want to let you guys know, of course, is next week's streams. So next week, our next game day flight, by the way, will be the Champions League final. We have, of course, Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. We'll be taking the we'll take the first leg. We'll be taking the Avro RJ70. We're gonna take the RJ Avro 85 from London City over to Paris. Paris Le Bourget. Or we'll just take the Plus PC24 for there to Le Bourget, because it's the closest to, of course, PSG's home ground at St. Denis. And then from Le Bourget, we'll take the BBJ. We'll take the BBJ business jet, BBJ2, and we'll fly over from Le Bourget into Budapest. So this will be a 2-leg flight. We'll be flying over to all those areas there. So that's going to be for Friday, of course. Saturday's going to be another business jet flight. It's going to be I think Saturday's going to be the Firefly Air stuff. I think that's going to be the new Saturday stuff. Do more Firefly Air stuff. This time we're going to be doing some flying out of our hub in. I think we'll do some flights out of Dublin. Actually, I haven't done flights out of Dublin or Bristol very much, so we'll do that. We'll do a longer flight this time. Maybe we'll go from Bristol down to Innsbruck. That would be pretty fun. That'd be a bit of a nice longer flight. We'll fly from Bristol to Innsbruck. Should be a lot of fun. And of course, after this national park, our next national park is going to be Haleakala National Park in Hawaii, the second of Hawaii's national parks, Haleakala. So yeah, beautiful stuff here today this morning. The coast is absolutely gorgeous. So I've been to Puerto Rico a few times, by the way, in real life. So I've been there once. I've been there to San Juan once. We visit we walk around old San Juan. We made it to the Castillo San Felipe del Moro, which was the one we've been to. Really cool. There's also the other fortress here. Not far from here is San Cristobal Castle. So, really cool stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about the slides for today for the U.S. Virgin Islands National Park. This national park, by the way, is located in St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands, preserves more than 60% of the land area there, as well as more than 5,500 acres of adjacent ocean. Nearly all Hassett Island, just off of Charlotte and Meals St. Thomas Harbor. This park is well known for its scuba diving and snorkeling, and has also miles of hiking trails through the tropical rainforest. The gateway to the park is located at Cruz Bay, as well as the visitor center location. Ferries operate hourly from Red Hook, St. Thomas, twice daily from Charlotte and Mealy, St. Thomas, and West End Tortola twice daily from Jost Van Dyke, and twice weekly from Virgin Gotha and British Virgin Islands. The park was impacted greatly by 2 Category 5 hurricanes in 2017, Irma and Maria. Now, in 2018, the park received 112,000 visitors. Of course, there isn't a lot of visitors. This past year, 471,000 visited the park last year here in the Virgin Islands. Tons of really cool stuff about this national park. I know it's a bit of a smaller end of U.S. national parks, but it's still something to keep an eye on, of course. So really cool stuff here about the park. So yeah, neat place. Tons of beaches too. This park has a lot of things going if you like the island getaway. And because, like I said, it's not directly in the United States, it's a bit more remote compared to some of the other national parks in the country. But it's not as remote as American Samoa or many of the Alaskan national parks, or Isle Royale even. Because you can at least get flights to St. Thomas and just take the ferry to it, which is much easier to get to than you think. The history of the national park came around in 1956, and it starts with 1956. Lawrence Rockefeller's Jackson Hole Preserve donated its extensive lands on the island to the National Park Service, under the condition that the lands had to be protected from future development. The remaining portion, the Canal Bay Resort, operates on a lease agreement with the National Park Service, which owns the land. Of course, the boundaries of the park include 75% of the island, but various inholds within the park boundary reduce it to around 60%. One interesting thing is that much of the island's waters, coral reef, and shoreline have been protected by being included in the park. And its portion was expanded when the National Monument, Coral Reef National Monument, was created. Obviously, Irma and Maria both devastated the park, both impacted the Virgin Islands in 2017, and it was reopened in December that year with all roads, trails, and beaches declared accessible by visitors. So, not too much history with the park, but you can definitely see there's plenty of things in this national park we'll be covering here. And much of the flight plan is basically going around the park borders. So, pretty neat stuff here, of course. And so, got that taken care of as well. So, that's what's going on here for the history of the park. So, like I said, not too much going for it. If you're wondering why I'm touching this a lot more, it's because this thing has no autopilot, so I can't keep it stable. So, let's see if there's anyone flying along with us. We're in the Southeast Asian server, and our route's basically in the title. But we don't have too much to go for more flying. But today is going to be a major day for a lot of major football, for major soccer today. It's the end of the Premier League season, so the question is, all eyes on the Spurs-Everton game and West Ham Leeds, because that's going to be Tottenham, Everton, and West Ham Leeds are going to be the two games people are going to have to watch today. I'll have to keep an eye on those two here today. I know a lot of people want Spurs to go down, so I know the Tottenham faithful do not want to see Spurs go down. Not going to be easy though, because Everton's not had a bit of a winless run, and more importantly too, so to our left, this is Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So there is Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, for those who don't know, want to learn more about Puerto Rico, this is actually a U.S. territory, but it's its own self-governing Caribbean island, organized as an unincorporated territory of the United States. Population of people living in Puerto Rico is around 3.1 million, which would make it 33rd among U.S. states and territories, and in terms of its own dependencies by population, 136. However, its GDP is 92nd highest in the world in total GDP in 2024. What makes Puerto Rico a bit different, of course, it was actually originally Spanish, as the Spanish held this island for the next 400 years after it was colonized in 1508. Eventually, though, the United States gained Puerto Rico following the end of the Spanish-American War in 1898, and it was acquired by the U.S., which was still here to this day. And Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens since 1917 and moved freely between the archipelago and the United States. However, the residents are disenfranchised from federal elections, and they do have to pay federal taxes and Puerto Rico income taxes. So there have been talks about having Puerto Rico as a state, but that would have to depend on what the Puerto Ricans vote for and all that. It's still debatable. It depends on what the Puerto Ricans want to do. That's all eyes are on them if they want to become a U.S. state and such. Well, it's over. Unbelievable. Bolton had, and that's the end of the League One playoffs. Bolton Wanderers are going back to the EFL Championship. So Bolton are back. Holy heck. So yeah, Bolton have officially returned. Well, that's going to be some fun times. That's crazy. So yeah, they beat Stockport County, so Bolton's in the EFL Championship back in the second tier. At one point, they were in the Bolton used to be a Premier League mainstay. They used to be a mainstay in the first division, of course. For the Premier League during the 2000s and early 2010s, they used to be a mainstay in the Premier League for Bolton Wanderers. But now after going Tier 4, they climb all the way back up to Tier 2. So that's pretty exciting for Bolton and their supporters. For their supporters, this has definitely been pretty good news for them. In terms of other sports, of course, for the NBA playoffs, last night the Knicks absolutely destroyed the Cavaliers. They beat them by double digits again. Beat them by 23 points. Yeah, the Knicks are probably going to go to the finals, man. I mean, Jalen Brunson has been unstoppable. Mikal Bridges played fantastic. OG Anunoby has been great. Even Karl-Anthony Towns has played well. Yeah, it looks like, the Knicks are going to be the finals. No offense to Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, but the Knicks are just such a better team this year. Brunson. Now the question is it going to be the Spurs or the Thunder? It looks like the Thunder take the 2-1 lead against Spurs, San Antonio, but this has been the important game because because San Antonio can get the tie if they win tonight at the Frostbank Center in San Antonio. Because the previous game it was just pretty much dominated by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Because that was pretty much dominated by Shai and Jalen Williams, Jared McCain. I mean, the Thunder look like to be the favorites to get back to the NBA and win the NBA championship again. Look like to be an insane team. And then for ice hockey, for the NHL playoffs, of course, I haven't covered much of the NHL recently, because I haven't talked much about the NHL playoffs. But so far, the Hurricanes and the Canadiens have tied their series back at 1, and the Golden Knights are up 2-0 against the first seed in the West. Holy heck! The Golden Knights had a pretty interesting journey. They were the 4th seeded team. Then they go out to beat a really good Ducks team. Beat both the Ducks and that. Can you imagine the Golden Knights back in the Stanley Cup Finals for another year against the Canadiens? That would be a crazy story, but yeah, it might cause even the Blue Leafs fans to probably cheer for the Canadiens as much as they hate it. They would rather have the time to go back to Canada than be back in Las Vegas' possession. So we're gonna get closer to San Juan. Now, if you guys never been to San Juan, well, San Juan is actually the capital and largest city in Puerto Rico. It's actually also a very old city too, dating back to 1521. It's the second oldest European capital city in the Americas after Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic in 1496, and is the oldest European established city under U.S. sovereignty. And of course, many of historical buildings are located in the historic district of Old San Juan. And of course, the former defensive walls and 2 of its big forts, Fort San Felipe del Moro and Fort San Cristobal, as well as La Fortaleza, the old executive mansion currently continues using the Americas. And as a result, those sites are part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. Today, its most important seaport is San Juan's most important seaport in Puerto Rico, and one of the island's most notable financial, cultural, and tourism centers in the country. Of course, this city has been also a major sports hub. It's hosted the Pan American Games in 1979, and it's hosted events of multiple World Baseball Classics, the Caribbean Series, Special Olympics have even held here, and the MLB San Juan Series in 2010. But tons of different events and tons of different stuff were held here in the beautiful city of San Juan. We got to visit the city back, I think, in 2024. Yeah, I visited the city in 2024, San Juan. Very neat city. Lots of things to look. The old town is really cool to see. So much of the old architecture is still there. And of course, San Juan is very much like pretty much a lot of Puerto Rico. San Juan is very much love baseball. People in Puerto Rico absolutely love baseball in Puerto Rico. Baseball is the pastime, and it still is the major sport here in Puerto Rico. I mean, several other players earned the Pro Baseball Hall of Fames, including its most famous person, Roberto Clemente. But you also have Orlando Cepeda and Roberto Alomar Sr., to say the least. So, really cool stuff about San Juan. So, we're doing pretty good. We're just 115 nautical miles from our final stop. So let's see if anyone's flying along with us. You know, I might change out of this. I don't know if I want to keep this on for a long time. I'm worried about getting quite a bit of sweat and stuff. Gotta support the Toffees today. here we're getting ready to go to San Juan very soon. Our first stop is Tango Juliet India Golf is our first stop here in beautiful San Juan. We'll be making our way. And that is the Fernando Rivas Dominici Airport, which is mainly the main GA airport of this of San Juan. But it does also have some certain local international flights across some of the islands here in San Juan. So we should be getting very close to San Juan. I know it's yeah, the scenery looks great out here this morning. So we're getting pretty close to the next. So, yep, there's San Juan right in the distance. Oh, right around the coastline of Puerto Rico. You should get so there's Puerto Rico, right there's San Juan, right in the distance. Yep, here we go. So here it is, guys. San Juan. We finally did it. This is the beautiful city of San Juan, or Old Town. Yes, this is going faster than I was expecting. I thought I was expecting this to be 89 knots. I didn't think it would go 110. So, that's Old San Juan. And San Cristobal's to our right is San Cristobal, which is right here. Fort San Cristobal is to our right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get this thing parked. Yeah, that's the old town, San Juan. One of the nice things about the Savage Cub is this thing's super light. So we're going to go ahead and park here for just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and park here for a bit. We'll park here and we'll be waiting. If anyone else wants to join on in and wants to join on this flight this morning, here's our exclamation point route and circle for all you guys here. So So. So we're going to go ahead and prepare for the next leg of the trip. So let's just go ahead and prepare for leg number 2 of 3. We're going to go ahead and head over to... we're going to go ahead and make our way over to the next stop. So we're going to head over to Tango Juliet Charlie Papa. We're going to enter into the island of Benjamin Riviera Noriega Airport in the island of Isla de Cabrera. Will be our next stop. So, as we fly in through from San Juan, we'll be making our way down to the next stop. 46 nautical miles for this one. So let's go ahead and talk more about our national park here for a bit. I guess we will do a beachside landing at Trunk Bay. We'll be doing that one. So we'll make a landing there. So the next place we're going to talk about here is the attractions at the park. There's a lot of things this park has attractions. Beaches, coral reefs, hiking trails, and natural sites are the park's main attractions. Visitors can stay at many of the numerous resorts, hotels, and vacation villas near the park on St. John. Cinnamon Bay Campground is located inside the park, as is Caneel Bay Resort on the North Shore, which was actually lies on Rockefeller's former personal estate. The beaches here are regularly named some of the best beaches in the world. Trunk Bay in particular, in the adjacent beach on St. John, is well known for its underwater trail for snorkeling across the coral reef. Cinnamon Bay Beach is a long, wide stretch of sand on the shore of St. John. Honeymoon Beach is, well, obviously named for the soft, white sand under palm trees, perfect for people for honeymoon. Maho Bay is known for soft sand and calm, shallow waters. The sand seagrass make it a good place for turtles and sea turtles and stingrays. For hiking trails, the Cinnamon Bay Nature Trail passes through sugar plantation routes, while the Bordeaux Mountain Trail leads to the highest point of the island. The Reef Bay Trail offers views of forest remnant sugar mills, the historical Tino petroglyph rock carvings, and a spring-fed waterfall and reflection pool, as well as snorkeling over Gentile Bay. And that hike is pretty strenuous. It's more than 6 miles long. And there's several historic sites littered through the park, including the Annaberg Historic District, which protects a partially restored sugar factory and windmill located east of Mary's Point. National Park signage guides visitors to the ruins and explains the process of turning sugarcane into molasses. And volunteers and park rangers are often in the area to answer any questions. They also have a bakehouse for those who samples of dumb bread. There's also Brief Bale Trail petroglyphs, which are mainly from the Taino people, and the well-preserved Catherineburg sugar mill ruins are one of the most easily accessed in the park. So quite a lot of attractions here. Beaches, hiking, and plenty of historical sites make up the attractions here at the national park. So pretty cool stuff. So behind us, of course, was the big airport for Puerto Rico, Luis Munoz Airport. So we're about to make our way over. Now, to our east, by the way, this is El Yunque National Forest in Puerto Rico. And it features Torrey Mount Britain Trailhead here in Puerto Rico. So here we go, Puerto Rico. So we'll go through here. So, like, so I'm trying to keep this thing relatively guided because obviously this thing does not have an autopilot. So I'm trying to keep this thing from going left. It likes to tilt to the left. Keep this thing straight. So let's see the game's on, of course. So Parma and Sassuolo, 1-0 win. It's going to look like to be a 1-0 win for. It looks like to be a 1-0 win in the season for Parma. Of course, the end of Serie A is going to be rested today. 12 p.m. is going to be the next one for Napoli and Udinese. But Napoli's already clinched Champions League placement no matter what. Mm. So we're getting ready to get going here. Um, so in terms of the geography at the park and geographically, hey King Cobra, good to see you, my dude. I hope you're doing well, King Cobra 74. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, my dude. I hope you're having a good weekend. Yourself. We're going to be exploring Virgin Islands National Park very shortly. I think we got one more leg after this. We're flying to Tango Juliet Charlie Papa. We were just at San Juan earlier. Beautiful. I've been to Puerto Rico before in San Juan. Pretty neat area. Lots of history, though. So in terms of the national park, speaking for geography, the national park encompasses around 14,000 acres of land and ocean, and it covers almost 60% of St. John Island and almost all of Hassel Island. The main features, of course, are the coral reef. Uh, oh, I ran out of fuel there. Yeah, for some reason, this thing does not. It doesn't have. It doesn't use the. It can't let you select which tank. That's not good at all. For some reason, the second tank isn't even. Doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I got me my Everton gear on today. Got the Toffees and Spurs. Got to cheer on for the last game of the season for Everton, of course. Got to cheer for the Toffees. But the main features, of course, are the coral reefs, which completely surround the park, in ocean waters, tropical forest, and beaches. In terms of wildlife, speaking of which, there are multitudes of animals found here, including wild donkeys, deer, mongoose, pigs, goats, birds, iguanas, skinks, tortoises, frogs, fish, and crabs they have in the park. The only native land mammal of the park are actually bats. And the park has been recognized as an important bird area by BirdLife International due to the fact it supports populations of bridled quail doves, green-throated caribs, Antelope-crested hummingbirds, brown pelicans, Caribbean Illinaeus, Puerto Rican flycatchers, pearly-eyed thrashers, and lesser Antillean bullfinches. It's a pretty neat little bird species, of course. Tons to learn about the park. Yeah, there's actually 6 types of bats from this island. Of course, sharks and rays are found here too. Plenty of some of the sharks you can find here around the park. Nurse sharks, the whale shark, though it's a very rare sightings. The southern stingray, which is quite common, but do not step on them because their stinger can be very painful. Spotted eagle ray, with its unique spots. The Caribbean manta ray, which is quite uncommon, but it's a very neat fish species, which is a very neat type of fish. They can go up to 20 feet wingspan, and lemon sharks live around the park. But tons of really cool stuff in this national park. With all sorts of critters and stuff. Love to live in this area. Really neat stuff. So let's take a look at the scenery out here this morning. But yeah, absolutely pretty. Gorgeous scenery, of course. This morning, really nice stuff. The beaches here are nice. I do like to fly in the Caribbean sometimes. Hopefully, with more regional aircraft, I can do some more flying in the Caribbean. I know Puerto Rico to TPJ would be pretty nice to fly. I think this with the BAE 146 would be, with the Avro RJ, would be incredible. Like, it can handle those short airfields, and it should be some pretty fun challenges, of course, to try and land here at the airport. Some really cool stuff. So, really cool stuff. So keep track of the game. Okay, the game's just started. Everton versus Spurs. Come on, Everton, do your part and get Spurs relegated. Come on, Everton. Everton. Part of me wants to put the TV on so I can watch the Toffees beat Spurs, but what aircraft is that? This is the Slim Savage Cub. Is this little guy? It's basically the game's version of the Piper Super Cub. Very popular in real life and extremely popular bush aircraft. You see this in a lot of bush flying stuff. Very popular little plane for bush flying and stuff. Very popular. It's old plane. Doesn't have any autopilots, not even modern avionics. It's just old school. But I like this thing. Very cool. The islands are absolutely gorgeous here this morning. Oh, look at the water. Look how nice it is. And the South Pacific is supposed to be really nice down there, too. I don't know if I want to put the game on, though, because I want to watch, I gotta watch the Toffees, man. Gotta watch Everton, baby. No, I don't know. I feel like more like an Espanol Paraco for RCD Espanol. Maybe I feel more like that. So, absolutely gorgeous. So, the place we're flying to for our next stop is, of course, speaking is Cabrera, and it's one of the it's technically one of the Spanish Virgin Islands. It's well known for its very pristine beaches, and especially Flamenco Beach, which is supposed to be really, really nice. It was ranked the third best beach in the world in 2013, and regained its Blue Flag Beach in 2016. It's been one of the world's finest beaches here in Flamenco Beach, so should be a really, really cool flight. So we should be getting here pretty soon. Like I said, it's not easy flying this without the autopilot sometimes. But it's still gorgeous though. I love the Caribbean in the sim, especially when you fly in the Leeward Islands. That's where the Caribbean flying gets really nice, is when you go to the Eastern Islands, the Leewards, and you basically see so many islands there to fly over. Some of them are absolutely gorgeous to visit, at least for scenery-wise, for natural scenery. They're absolutely gorgeous. All right. Oh, Wolves just scored a goal on Burnley. Poor Burnley. But yeah. So, beautiful stuff. So, another slide is the climate of the Virgin Islands National Park. In terms of the Köppen classification system, Virgin Islands National Park has a tropical savanna wet and dry climate. Class A tropical climates have an average temperature of 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit or higher in every month of the year. The park gets an average rainfall of around 55 inches a year. In the winter, trade winds can blow from 11 knots to 21 knots, and the average temperature is around 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's very little temperature variation between summer and winter. And while the sea is warm year-round. However, the main tourist season is December to April, which are the driest months. During the remaining months, prices for accommodations are reduced considerably. Camping and rustic lodging are available in the park from November through August in the Cinnamon Bay campground. Pretty cool stuff here at the park. So I think this will be our last slide for this leg at least. We'll still make our way to our landing site for today. So let's see. Come on, Everton. Come on, Toffees. Probably wants to put the game on right now. You know what? I might as well put the game on. Gotta watch the game. I'll lower the volume, of course. Okay. Okay, here I got the game on. Come on, Everton, on the topics. So this here is Cobra, and there is Flamenco Beach. Really cool place. Look at that. That's nice. Look at the beaches here. That's absolutely gorgeous. I think our park is just this way. Look at that beautiful beach. Actually, this is better. Okay, our airport is down over here, so we're just going to turn left. Nice thing about the little cove is just how small it is. You can just get into the airport very easily with it. You don't have to stress about it too much. Laps down. Oh no, enjoy the game. I know. I gotta enjoy Everton. It's gonna be stressful watching the Toffees all season. I mean, between having to watch Espanyol and Everton, I got enough things to be stressed about. Gotta watch all that, of course. So we're gonna go ahead and yeah. So we'll stop right here for a bit. So we'll stop right here for just a bit, for a couple minutes. Come on. Oh, we missed it. Good. So we'll get ready for one final leg left to go. This one's going to be pretty short, 49 nautical miles left to go. So we'll cover Charlotte and Mealy, and then we'll cover the last of the island of St. John. And we're going to cover the U.S. Virgin Islands. So let's go ahead and get ready for the third and final leg of this trip. We're going to go ahead and make our way down to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we're going to go ahead and get the last leg done. All right. Yeah, the kit I'm mainly wearing, the Everton kit is the 1990 kit. I picked that one out because it looked really nice. The blue and stuff looked really cool. So, so we have one final leg left to go. So now to the U.S. Virgin Islands. So I'm going to cover a couple of our slides before we get there, of course. For the U.S. Virgin Islands, the geology, speaking of which, for geology purposes, located in the Greater Antilles, St. John resides on the northeastern end of the Caribbean plate. The island was formed during the Cretaceous with the eruption of Water Island Formation. Consists of charatrophytes and pillow basalts. Um, of course, igneous activity then changed it to an island arc with the Louisenhoge Formation with andesite and basalt. And then volcanism abated during the deposit of more limestone. A diabase dike swarm then followed, and then compressively attributed to the Caribbean plate. Colliding with the Bahama platform, the late Eocene saw the intrusions of Narrow Pluton and Virgin Golan batholith, which had been around nearly 39 million years ago. So that covers a bit about the island's geological history, of course. So that covers a bit of its history. So, getting ready for that. So the U.S. Virgin Islands, by the way, the USVI, as they call them, this insular territory of the United States is part of the Virgin Islands archipelago and are located in the Leeward Islands of the Lesser Antilles, and shares maritime border with the British Virgin Islands. Now, it consists of 3 main islands: St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas, as well as 50 other surrounding minor islands and cays. The total land area of the territory is around 133 square miles, and the capital is Charlotte Amalie in the island of St. Thomas. Before the Americans had possession of it, it was actually part of the Dane. Yes, Denmark used to control this. And it was sold to the United States for $25 million in 1917. Now, in terms of U.S. elections, the the U.S. Virgin Islands elects a delegate who can participate in the debates with the House of Representatives, but cannot vote. And the main activities on the island are tourism. Tourism is a big part of the economy. Most of it coming from cruise ships. And I've been to St. Thomas Island plenty of times. So we'll fly over Charlotte and Adelaide when we get to St. Thomas. And the capital is actually around 8,000 people, by the way. Oh, good save. Oh, good play by Pickford. So, big stuff going on here. There's Shard and Melee. We'll fly over here. So, Looks like we take. So this is Charlotte Airport. More specifically, this is Saro E. King Airport, Tango India Sierra Tango. This TIST is actually the busiest airport in the Virgin Islands and one of the busiest in Eastern Caribbean, with 1.4 million passengers in 2015 through 2016. Last year, 1.5 million people flew out of Saro King Airport. And it's the much busier of the two major airports in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, like I said, the Caribbean has some really beautiful airports to fly in and out of, and I know this place quite well. Charlotte. Here it is, guys. Charlotte, baby. Where that. All right, come on, Everton. Charlotte. I've been in this place too. Really cool. So Charlotte and Melee. So we have one final slide left to go on this trip. And our final part of the trip, of course, our final slide for today is Trunk Bay, which we will be making our bush landing at Trunk Bay, which is the beach we'll be landing at today. This bay on St. John is located in the Virgin Islands National Park, and it's named after the leatherback turtle, which is endemic and locally known as trunks. The beach area is divided into two halves: the main Trunk Bay Beach and swim area, and Burglesman Cove on the west end. Its amenities include snack bars, showers, and restrooms, a lifeguard, and an underwater trail for snorkeling. And it's been consistently been voted as among the best beaches in the world, which is really cool. And if you ever see some pictures, it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's it, everyone. That covers all the slides. So we got one last thing left to go, and that's explore the national park. Thankfully, of course, this should be pretty easy to get the ferry in and out of this airport. And here it is, St. John. So we'll make one bush landing here, beach landing. And if you guys don't know about leatherback sea turtles, the locals call them trunks here on the island. But these turtles are really important. These are actually the largest of all living turtles and the heaviest non-crocodilian reptile. 2.7 meters long, and it can weigh up to over 1,000 pounds. It's the only living species of its genus, and it's different from all the other turtles because it doesn't have a bony shell. Instead, its carapace is covered by oily flesh and flexible leather-like skin. And they can be found all over the world. And these things mainly feed on jellyfish. Yes, they eat jellyfish, actually. That's their main part of their diet. Due to their feeding nature, they help control jellyfish populations, but they also eat other soft-body organisms, cnarians, tunicates, and even cephalopods, as well as possibly believing to feed on small crustaceans, fish, sea urchins, snails, seagrass, and algae. However, one endangered reason why I think leatherbacks are now endangered is because of plastic bags. with marine debris because many sea turtles mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, which 1/3 of adults have ingested plastic. So, and these turtles can live a very long time. They said the natural lifespan of a sea turtle, according to DNA testing, 90 years. 90 years. Yeah, 90 years for these sea turtles. Can you believe that? 90 years old. Um, but they do have many predators. Of course, the eggs are a lot closer predators. Feast on the eggs. Baby, and many of them also feed on baby sea turtles. Of course, in the ocean, young leatherbacks in the ocean have to face cephalopods, sharks, and various large fish. However, in spite of the lack of hard shell, they face very few serious predators. Though that being said, orcas, white sharks, and tiger sharks do feast on them. Nesting females have even been attacked by jaguars in the American tropics. So yeah, these, like I said, leatherback sea turtles are really cool animals to learn, and are very very cool. So this here is St. John Island. We finally reached to the national park. So we're gonna go left because that's where the national park limits. And look, I mean, look at the coast. So yeah, this is Cruz Bay. This is the main settlement on the island. Ooh la la. Ooh la 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 la. Look at the beaches here. Oh my. My goodness. So Trunk Bay will be our landing site. So we're going to go ahead and make our, let's see if there's enough beach we can make the landing. We got a beachside view. At 90 years old. I mean, it's, yeah, sea turtles are really impressive animals. Really cool. But I mean, there's tons of sea turtles. By the way. Um, but there's some really other impressive sea turtles out there. While the leatherbacks are the largest, there's plenty of species of sea turtles, including the most common being the green sea turtle, which is the most common sea turtle species. So, is there enough land site for? I guess there is barely a beach land site. Okay, Trunk Bay Beach. Oh boy, I didn't bring a float plane for this. Part of me should have taken it, but here we go. Ah, you know what? That's good enough for right now. Let's go ahead and look at that. Welcome to Trunk Bay Beach. Now that's what I call a beachside vacation. Why is it going backwards? Okay. Ah, look at that for a beachside trip. Absolutely incredible. What a beautiful beach. Yeah, that's why I'm going to take this thing here today. Thought this would be nice for a beachside vacation. So, yeah, no wonder people say this is a beautiful beach. I can definitely see why people love this beach so much. So let's get back into the plane and we're going to get ready for our flight. off we go to the beautiful beach. Off we go. So, we're going to go ahead and turn left. We'll fly over Cinnamon Beach and Maho Beach for some beachside hops. So yeah, absolutely beautiful days. So we're going to go ahead and turn left, and we're going to do some climbing. We might be able to see the tallest point on the island. I think so. Mullendal. I think the tallest point's somewhere around here. So we're going to go ahead and turn left. Right. Thankfully, the nice thing about this little plane, of course, shouldn't be a problem to climb. So a little plane like this, pretty lightweight, should have no problem climbing elevation. This might be the tallest point on the island, actually. It's over 1,000 feet. Yeah, this area right here is about the tallest point on the island. So you can actually see the so here we go. We'll get into St. John. So yeah, some hills in the island, of course. So here we go. We're going to be climbing. Yeah, beautiful views here. This is a stunning little island. Whoa, careful. The tree, because obviously I want to actually survive, not die. Obviously. Here's Coral Bay. There's Coral Bay. Look at that. So Coral Bay is here. U.S. Virgin Islands National Park. Really pretty. Pretty little park. We're going to go ahead and make our way down to the British Virgin Islands and to the island of Tortola. This is the British Virgin Islands, by the way. Don't confuse them for the U.S. They're British. And this is the largest of the British Virgin Islands. Population 23,000 people. But it actually uses, but despite being a British flag, this island actually uses the U.S. dollar due to the proximity and trade with the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Very cool stuff. And its airport's pretty neat. It uses the Terrace B. Lettsome Airport, which is 4,600 feet. But they're doing an expansion project to expand it over 3,700 feet longer runway expansion. It currently flies destinations in the Americas, in the Caribbean, and the United States is where it mainly flies to. And yes, they now even do jet service to Miami using the originally was the BA E146, but now it uses E175 jets. So this is Tortola, really cool. Little island. So I really do appreciate all you guys being here today. So here we go. Just 8 nautical miles left to go. Like I said, this has been really impressive aircraft here today. It's going through this pretty quickly. We might get this done under 2 hours, which is pretty impressive, to say the least. So we should be flying. Oh, great defense! No, no, no. Oh, balls, no. Spurs got scored. Oh. You know the pain of being an Everton supporter can be sometimes, you know? Yes, you have been relegated from the Premier League, but being a proper Evertonian is pain. Of course. This is Rotown, the largest settlement in the island of Tortola is Rotown. So there it is, Rotown. That's the biggest settlement. Come on, Everton. It looks like West Ham's going to get relegated because what's the score in the West Ham game like? Uh, West Ham and Leeds are drawled. But it won't matter. If the results stand, Tottenham will survive another season. Spurs are going to survive another season. So yeah, here it is, our last stop for the day. There we go. And that's it, everyone. And that completes Virgin Islands National Park. We're here in Tortola. So a massive thank you, everyone here, for being here this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed this flight as much as I do. Guys, thank you all so much. We'll be returning back on Friday for the Champions League final, Arsenal PSG, so we'll cover plenty. We're going to say hello to my good friend Sergeant Staff. I think he's still on. We're going to rate his stream, and we'll take care of business. Hey, Nightwolf, good to see you. Unfortunately, you just came here at the very end of the stream, but great to see you as always. My dude. So, thank you all for coming here, and have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone, and see you on Friday. Have a great day. Goodbye, everyone, and see you soon.